Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending our public hearing board workshop, June 11, 2026. Madam Secretary, can you do a call to order, please? Roll call.
District 4, President Stewart.
Present.
District 6, Vice President Lewis.
Present.
District 1, Mr. Blue.
Here.
District 2, Mr. Lannis.
Present.
District 3, Ms. Powell Lewis.
Present.
District 6, Mr. Russ.
Present.
District 7, Mr. Goday.
Here.
District 8, Ms. Sule.
Here.
District 9, Mr. Martin.
Here.
And now we will hand things over to our superintendent, Mr. Lamont Cole.
Thank you, Madam President, Vice President, members of the board, those who are here and those watching at home. Thank you so much for attending this evening's budget hearing. 7 days ago, we did a thorough presentation relative to the 26-27 budget. I will not be as long this week. Mr. Ballou told me to be brief, so I will be brief in my comments about the budget. If anyone wants to see the more thorough presentation I did last week or has any questions, we'll have time for questions tonight, and the presentation can be viewed online. But tonight I'd like to present what we believe to be a student-first budget that is going to provide the necessary supports for all of our students so they might be able to be successful in their academic journey. Revised Statute 39-1307 suggests how we are supposed to proceed relative to the budget, and notice has been provided in the Advocate, and a public hearing was held last week, and an additional public hearing is being held now. A future-focused budget. The budget reflects the feedback we heard from the community, the priorities of the strategic plan, as well as our realignment of facilities. And the highlight of the budget is a raise for our employees, including increasing the starting teaching salary from $50,000 to $56,000. We had 8 conversations with the community, some stakeholder groups, some general community meetings where we listened and learned what the community wanted us to put in the budget, and that is what we attempted to do, in addition to being in alignment with our strategic plan we developed in October of 2025. The consolidated financial summary just outlines the 3 areas where we receive funding: our federal resources, our state resources, as well as our local resources, and then how we spend the money, the expenditures in terms of how we expend the money, and then the ending fund balance. When we look at our revenues, again, we talk about the ad valorem taxes, which are property taxes, the MFP, which is the federal grants, the sales tax, which are the state grants, and then the federal indirect costs, which are the local grants. The revenue highlights: the total revenues are anticipated to decrease by $10.8 million, revised from 25-26. The vast majority of the decrease is due to the LDOE stipend for staff that we will not receive next year, and it was not improved during the legislative session. The revenue projections: enrollment continues to decline throughout the state and in our local area. Property taxes are projected to increase by 4%. Sales taxes are projected to increase by 7%. The MFP will decrease as expected as enrollment continues to decrease, as well as the loss of the LDOE stipends. The enrollment trends you see now on this slide include charter schools. And as you can see, with charter schools, we had a 4.7% decrease in the number of students when we include charter schools, about 1,876 students. When we exclude charter schools from that number, you see a decline of about 13.9%, which is 5,151 students. When we look at the staffing and enrollment over time, what you will see as we get ready to go into the next school year, after careful consideration and conversations with the community and the board, we recognize we have some students who are still behind. What the research has indicated is many of the students who are still behind came to us behind during their kindergarten experience. Many of them came to us because they didn't have access to a pre-kindergarten experience, or early childhood, a high-quality early childhood experience, and as a result, they have continued to struggle. What we are attempting to do this year in our Student First Network, in our TAP model schools, utilizing our curriculum specialists, our curriculum writers, mentor teachers in our CDNF schools, is provide the necessary support to close the gap for those students who were behind starting out and have continued to be behind during their academic journey. We believe the models that we've researched, that we've seen over the country, that we've studied, are going to help our students to be successful. And if we do it the right way, it's going to be a twofold thing. We have to do the right things in the classroom, and the students and families have to do the right things at home and when they show up to provide the support they need in order to get back on track, perhaps learn at a rate that will put them on grade level and then put them on a path to a brighter academic future. The next shows the total revenue over time. The chart shows the funding sources in a different manner to understand the district revenues. The navy bar shows the revenues received by the general fund for each year listed, and the gray bar shows the revenue received by special revenue funds, and then the green bar shows the combination of the two bars together. The projected revenues versus the net revenues. This slide shows the relationship between revenues received through the district and the total funds provided for charter schools over a period of time. So as you can see, starting from 2019 to 2020, ending in 26-27, you see the revenues that have come to our school system relative to district-run schools as well as charter schools, and those revenues can be viewed there. The next slide just talks about our district initiatives, improving the academic experience, student achievement, mentor teachers, 2 additional foundational learning centers with dual educators, employee development in terms of the TAP model and the Student First Network, and an operational excellence where we did the realignment phase 2 in the Park Forest community with 6 schools adjusting their start times, as well as the reconfiguration of some of the elementary schools in that area. The next slide highlights the proposed changes. This is a slide, Ms. Sule, you asked about last week, where it shows the increase in revenues in terms of the areas we are spending, and then a decrease in the areas where we're spending money, but there's going to be a decrease relative to last year. And it gives you the areas where those things are happening. And then the proposed services for 26-27, the local, state, and federal, $22.9 million, $3.4 million, and $7.2 million, respectively. The next slide breaks down the general fund budget by expenditure category, percentage of all the funds, including charters, and then a percentage of all the funds when we exclude charters. So you see each category where we are going to make those expenditures. The general fund financial summary, the chart provides an overview of the general fund revenues and expenditures over 3 important points in the budget cycle: the actual for 24-25, the revised for 25-26, and then the proposed for 26-27. For a different perspective, the next slide of the general fund shows the different revenues and expenditures in a percentage format. So it says the exact same thing in a different format because we know we have diverse learners and we are trying to differentiate our instruction as we share this information with all of you tonight. And then there's the general fund balance summary. The projected unassigned fund balance for the year is anticipated to be $90.1 million. The projected assigned fund balances for the year is $35.5 million. The total fund balance is projected to be $125.6 million. This would give the district fund balance as a percentage of revenues, 21%. As you know, the 15% is the board policy. I think 6% is the state policy, 15% is the board policy, and after we've done our very best to provide support for our students, we'll be at 21%. The breakdown of the current year expenditures by the strategic initiatives that we know are aligned to our strategic plan. $9.6 million will go to early childhood, $17.1 million for literacy, $70.6 million would be the biggest load, would be our safety and security for all campuses, as well as facilities improvements. A total of $18.8 million for college and career readiness, and $21.8 million in what we consider to be a competitive compensation package. Each of these items aligns with the community request, but again, also with our strategic plan. Long-term sustainability is the question that we received consistently from various different members of the community. We talked about the fund balance being $144 million, the long-term student success. If in fact we are able to provide the right support for our students where they are with the right initiatives in place, we recognize and know that they won't need as much support. Those who are behind need a lot more support than those who are on grade level. Our focus is to ensure that we're doing everything we can to help students perform on grade level by a period of time we believe to be one that would help them graduate career and college ready. We know if we're able to do that, we know if the assessments we use in-house, the the common formative assessments we use in-house, and some of the data we use to determine whether or not students are performing on grade level shows that our students are performing on grade level, we won't need as much support. In addition to that, with our realignment initiatives, we're going to continue to monitor how we are spending funds. In addition to that, we're going to look at where we are spending funds in terms of vendors we are using to support what we're doing, and where we need to make adjustments, we will make adjustments. So as we continue to move forward, understanding we have a fund balance and that's not necessarily always want to dip into the fund balance, we're going to monitor how we are doing things to ensure that we are able to sustain what we're doing tonight. I think the biggest point I'd like to make is that tonight is a one-time expenditure this year, and then after that, we just simply have to maintain. I think we've done a good job in years past of maintaining and sustaining to the tune of having a $144 million fund balance, and I'm confident we'll be able to do the same as we move forward to sustain the raises that we are attempting to provide tonight. To adopt the budget, the district must publish a summary of the budget, host a public hearing, which we've done last week and we're doing tonight, and then advertise, and then the board must project to vote on the budget tonight. And the district must submit the approved detailed budget to the state superintendent, State Department of Education prior to September 30th, 2026. So at this time, Madam President, I'm going to turn it back over to you for the public hearing, and then we'll accept any comments from the board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Superintendent, and for that brief summary of the budget. And so now we're going to go to our public comments, and our first public comment is from Mr. Harold Greer.
Good evening, Executive Board, audience. My name is Harold Greer, and I represent ASME Council 17, which represents some of your bus operators. Earlier this week, we met, when I say we, my executive director and staff, we had an opportunity to speak with a board member to get a little bit more clarity as far as what this budget does. And we come to a consensus that we, in most part, agree that this budget actually serves our operators, with an increase in pay. However, one of the biggest concerns that our operators had was the ability to obtain 8 hours in a day. Okay, we realize that the reduction as a median will be reduced to the 6 hours, but given that you can do additional routes and stuff like that, can they actually obtain more than the minimum of 6 hours and get paid at that particular rate of pay that's increased? Okay, and if so, because I need you to confirm that for the record, and if so, then they will know for sure that they can reach in excess of $250 a week additional, pay if they would, do that daily.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you for answering that. There was another concern when they come to what they call trail riders, because they're getting 8 hours. They're getting paid for 8 hours a day. Will they be affected by this particular pay rate? Will they be reduced, or they will maintain their 8 hours?
So are you saying they're working 8 hours a day?
Yeah,
If they're working 8 hours a day, they're going to make the same rate of pay for all 8 hours that they're working.
Okay.
But if they're not working 8 hours a day, they're going to be paid for the 6.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Let's see. So with that being said, I can agree with the...
You got to give it up for that. You got to give it up for that. You got to give it up for that. When
we our interest basically is for the, the benefit of our, members. And one of the things that I'll say for future references, we want to work with the school board. It's our objective to work with the school board. My executive director is kind of, upset because he sent several emails directly to you without any type of response. And we could have met, earlier at the middle of the road in dealing with that because we aim to serve our bus operators as best as we can at representing them.
My sincere apologies.
No problem. And the very last thing, because it came up, aides. I'm sorry.
Yeah, kind of wrap it
Just-
up.
okay,
I'll let you finish
just
that one, yeah.
Aides that ride the buses with our bus operators. That is a deep, deep concern for our bus operators because they do have a responsibility of driving our kids safely to their homes and also to the schools. And it can really, really get kind of,
So I
rough.
met with some bus operators this week. They brought that concern to me, and I told them I would make every effort to look at how we can support them with that initiative.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank you. Next, we have Storm Matthews.
I first just want to thank the board members that went on different missions for me this past week. And above all, Kelly, even though, I probably from working with her all of these years, she has me equally paranoid about Prop 3. But if she's willing to do it, then I will follow her, and because I'm equally conservative when it comes to the budget, and I do see the cuts that are being made to make way for it. But the Prop 3 is probably the part that makes me a little bit leery. I would rather pull from the fund budget, but. I am very, very happy that the bus drivers were taken care of and the paras and secretaries were taken care of. I think a lot of commotion could have been avoided had somebody just communicated that was handled and corrected. Yeah, I just thank the individuals who have been working day and night on this to get it right and to get things set in order. And I really do agree with the concept of making sure that the individuals that are, at the school and interacting in the children's lives directly, that's where the money is to be made instead of trying to go to central office to make the most money. I really agree with that concept. And so, Mr. Cole has put literally the money where his mouth is on that one. So I do appreciate that. I was very, very concerned about the paras and executive secretaries. So I'm very thankful that did get fixed before today because I didn't foresee that happening. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Catherine Woolfolk.
Good afternoon or good evening. Good afternoon or good evening. I am a bus driver. I've been here a while. Everybody knows me. Yes, I've voiced concerns about the pay too. I've voiced concerns about the hours being cut. But as they said, if you want to pick up the extra hours, you got to do the work. Nobody's not going to pay us to do 6 hours of work and get paid for 8. We got to, it's just the truth. And I asked the other bus drivers to come and support us because we know what we're going through. We have 1, 2, 3 bus drivers to come with us to help, rectify the situation. But I'm not all the way happy, but I'm good. I can't get everything I want, but I can also push next year to get me a pay raise and bring more hours or something else. And I want to thank the board. I especially want to thank this man right here, Mr. Cole, and the people that work with us and talk with us and try to rectify the situation. Now, next year, it's going to be a totally different story.
Get 'em, girl, get 'em.
Thank you. Next, we have Christy Deloche.
Good afternoon. My name is Christy Deloach. I'm a bus operator of 28 years, and I've seen the schedules go up over the years. And I know how difficult they were to interpretate before 2014, when the salary scale said we got $300 more per year as a step or a salary increase. And you can see the difference by looking at one scale to the next from year to year for the last 12 years. Those years that we got the raises, which was 4, we had the $400 raise plus our $300 salary increase for our year of service. I don't see that happening with this, but it's going to be different. I understand things change, but I have a few questions. Will we be considered part-time employees?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Will our insurance benefits go away?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What about our sick leave?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And how will more than 6 hours be calculated if you, okay, we have safe school training that I do in the middle of my route. So that's part of my job and part of the salary and things that I have to do. And I sit in the shop when my bus is being repaired. Are those considered part of the extra more than 6 hours than my driving time?
I'd have to have more information about that to understand what you're saying. You're saying that you do those things within the 6 hours that you're being paid for?
I'm doing that in between my bus routes.
I'd have to get more information from...
Okay. And y'all said the extra routes will be calculated by how much you make that year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Next, we have Kiva Dunmars.
Hello, how y'all doing? My name is Kiva Dunmars. I'm also a bus driver for EBR. I'm coming, thank y'all for considering us in the race, but I'm also coming because we're not here trying to get rich. I know we're not. I'm driving because I adore my kids. I have letters from parents and children and drawings, but we're waking up at 4:30. Y'all compared us to Iberville. Iberville have 26 kids on their bus. I have 72. 72 kids going to Baton Rouge Center. I have 58 going to McKinley Middle, 7 going to Glasgow. I have 3 schools. So am I considered 8 hours or 6 hours? I'll be 6 with almost 100 kids on my bus. So we have to look at all that when y'all determining our 6 hours, how many kids are on our bus. We're not Iberville, we're EBR, and we have a lot more kids than Iberville. I have a best friend that works over there. She has 30 kids on her bus for her 4.5 hours. 30 kids. I have 70 more than her. So I appreciate the hours and the raise, but just consider, because I have to do field trips. I'm still working at FedEx in between. So I have to do a lot to even make my bills meet. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our, oh, you have a card? Thank you.
Thank you. Because I'm a mathematician, I can't help myself. A lot of the anxiety that came from executive secretaries, bus drivers, and perhaps paraprofessionals could have been avoided if instead of using steps of 1% per year, you had made it 1.2%. But I hate to let the perfect get in the way of the good, and I know you're going to pass this unanimously in a few minutes anyway. But think about that for the salary schedules that you didn't touch, and possibly for an adjustment in a year or two. Also, the reason I'm not terribly hung up about it anymore is I've been assured by Ms. Lopez that you will correct the lack of giving people a raise by adjusting the steps, which wasn't clear until 10 or 20 minutes ago. Also, there have been assurances made to the bus drivers and questions asked, which you're not going to get answered in writing and stamped by the board tonight, but it might be worth putting a little bit of that on the July agenda. For example, what is a 6-hour shift? Are you getting paid the same hourly rate if you do an extra run, or is it just piecework? How does that affect benefits? And I don't doubt that there are people in this building that know exactly what the answers to those questions are. And I think there's probably opportunity to get that information transferred to the bus driver's consumption. And one other item, there are several people that with this new salary schedule will not get a raise, and that's your choice. But the moment either of my employers does not give me an annual raise, then I will wonder, because my purchasing power is decreasing, what has made me worth less to them than I was the year before. So be careful about the message that sends and have the appropriate positive message to mitigate that. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. That concludes the public comments. Now we are going to go to board comments. Mr. Lannis.
Thank you, Madam President. Budgets are always tumultuous conversations. They have always been since I've served on this board, because you're always trying to get enough inside of it to serve everybody, but you're never left with enough to go around to everybody. I did have a question, however, though, because someone reached out to me, and this is not to muddy the water in any fashion of the word, but there was someone who reached out who was a secretary, and I'll just use some of what she said to see if I can get an answer back from you, Superintendent Cole. She said, I'm a 28, she's on step 28 making $46,454, and on the 26-27 salary schedule, she'll be moving to a step 29 and would be receiving a pay cut of about $478. And she said even if they were to move to the next step, it would be to that, the closest she would make it to that would be roughly about $440. She said throughout the years, executive secretaries work 260 days a year, but they're always grouped with other roles. So I just want to get some clarity on that, because as I said before, I would ask the question. I won't say a name, but I did want to give an opportunity to give some clarity.
Sure, and any employee on the old salary schedule who would not get a raise on this salary schedule will be bumped up to the step that would provide for them to get a raise, and then going forward, they will continue to get the 1% raise. That particular employee would be bumped up to step 31, which would give her a raise this year, and then going forward, she would continue to get the 1% raise.
So for clarity, she will not go to a step 29. She will be bumped up to a step 31.
That particular employee.
That particular employee, yes. Sir. So that particular employee who's at a step 28 will get bumped to a step 31, not a step 29.
Correct.
And will receive a raise this year, and she will continue to receive raises.
1%. Yes,
by 1%. Okay, thank you for that. The other thing I'll say is that this has been a long and mucky road to get to actually paying raises. We tried to do this again several years ago, and there was discussion around giving a $8,000 across the board, not even doing percentages, but doing $8,000 across the board. And there were people that said, we shouldn't do it, let's wait on the budget. Now, so a lot of those people now, not talking about bus drivers, I'll be clear about that. You all have been waiting for it, you all have fought for it, you all showed up, and you showed it with your feet, because you walked out one time and we had to come back and tell you to please come back. Whatever we got to do to make that happen. But there have been people who have walked inside of the room. We've tried to do this with an $8,000 across the board raise, and they said, no, wait on the budget. The budget's not right. And then we tried it again by bifurcating the years and saying, let's do a 3-3-6. We still couldn't do it. So I applaud you and your team for strumming through the budget, finding enough money, using the time and allocations that are necessary to see that we can get this over the line. This is not an easy process. It takes years of projecting where you're going to be at, because you don't want to end up at the bottom And it also takes a lot of time because you have to let that fund balance get to a point where you're so healthy that you can do those projections and those forecasts. So I just want to say thank you to you and your team. I said before, we tried this, but sometimes good timing comes with right timing, and right now is the right time to get it done. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Landis. Ms. Paul Lewis.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask for a point of clarification. I know that the gentleman who represents the bus operators union mentioned about trail riders. I know
Trail drivers.
Trail drivers, okay? And I also,
No boots on the ground.
not the cowboy events that go on in our communities, but trail drivers, and I know that there are members of our community and our public who are listening. If you could, Mr. Cole, share with us what is a trail driver, so just so that those in the community will know what that is.
Yes, ma'am. As I can appreciate it, a trail driver is one who steps in the event something happens with a regular route. So if a bus breaks down, a trail rider will assume that route for that bus if it breaks down at the school. We've seen that a number of times. If a bus driver or a bus operator gets sick at the last minute, a trail rider needs to step up. So they are on call 24/7 in many cases to step in and step up in the event that the regular route driver is not available to do so.
So technically the cover.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And then also, I know the young lady came in from outside the room and shared about the population of students that are on her bus route. What might be in the making, something that might be in the making to be able to assist with what she mentioned as far as the number of students on her bus? Is there anything that is being planned or prepared to be able to alleviate some of those numbers?
Well, I just heard that, so I'm going to get with Mr. Howell and start thinking about a plan. First, understanding the numbers of students on the routes, and then to talk about what we're thinking about in terms of alleviating some of the pressures of those situations. So that was just brought up. So
Thank you.
I have seen, crowded buses and things of that nature from time to time, and we've talked about how we identify additional drivers for additional routes to help with that. We're hoping that the circumstances that we are presenting tonight in the budget would allow for us to recruit and retain drivers to be able to do so.
So, ma'am, wherever you are, you heard it first from Mr. Cole that we're going to work on it. The other, I just want to say, I remember in 2024, Mr. Smith brought up one of the first permanent pay raises in a while, and then to see that we are headed in this direction again in 2026, I am super excited. Super excited, as I shared before, that my colleagues, fellow educators, are getting these opportunities to receive small blessings. We know that you're worth way more than what we can offer, but I thank you for your service, and I hope that, through this budget cycle, that you will see that you are valued. Also, I want to say to Dr. Finney and Ms. Matthews over there, I see the front of your shirts. I need a cop. I need one of those shirts. Okay? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Martin.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Superintendent Nicole, in general, I'm very pleased with this budget. This has been a much smoother road to adoption than we've had the past few years, thanks to your leadership and your team's excellent work, so I appreciate that. I think it does, particularly these discussions regarding the drawing down of the reserve fund, which I support in this instance. I would have an even higher comfort level if we were looking at 2-year budget projections. So I would encourage you to ask the team to look to see if we can shift in that direction for next year. I have a couple of technical questions. The anecdote that, or the teacher, the school secretary example that Mr. Landis provided, where is the rule written down that governs that secretary is going to be bumped up to, I think, step 31, you said? Where is that written down in this budget that we're adopting tonight? Is that something we have to clean up, or is that something that's within your authority to do?
I think it's on page 20.
Page 7 of the salary schedule.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's there. Dr. Finney asked the question if anything need to be cleaned back up, and my understanding is that rule is in there now. Thank you. And then I just wanted to second what the bus driver commented on, Ms. Powell Lewis brought it up as well. We asked the bus drivers to do a really difficult job. Driving the bus by itself through Baton Rouge traffic in rush hour often is a full-time demanding task to be in the middle of. And on top of that, they have to police the behavior of our students who, much as we love them, are occasionally a little bit unruly in the bus. And so I want to encourage the district to be very creative in figuring out a way, and I've been talking about this for 3 years now, to find ways at minimal cost to get paraprofessionals or teachers or somebody to be riding those routes with the bus drivers, so that there's somebody else on the bus who's not in the middle of driving to do it. Because it's one thing if we're on vacation and dad driving in the front of the seat is telling the kids to pipe down, but to do that while you're driving a bus through full of 70 kids is not what we want, and we've all heard too many tales of when that's gone wrong. So I just encourage us to look at that. But overall, I'm very pleased with this budget, and I thank you very much for it.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Russ.
Thank you. Mr. Lannis's comments kind of have reminded me, what it's taken this board to get to a point that we can offer more aggressive compensation to our staff. And I want to remind our board and superintendent and tell you to pat yourselves on the back, because it took us a good 2 to 3 years of really digging deep into how our school system runs, putting more resources into classrooms, minimizing our facility footprint, and on, for us to be able to confidently justify what we're proposing in this budget. And it took a lot of work. And so we did that work, and I'm proud of the work that we've done to be able to do this. Now we have to sustain that work by continuing to ask the hard questions and to do the hard work year after year. Because I know that this is a great step in the right direction, but there's more to do, as we've talked about tonight. I want to thank our staff that has come and given us feedback, and really, echo and thank our bus drivers for the hard work that you do. Transportation has been a sore spot in our district for years, and it's something that's taken a lot of work for us to work through and needs more work. My son has ridden the bus this year, and he's very appreciative of the drivers who have taken great care of him, so I can at least voice a very positive experience with our transportation system. And I'm proud of that, because, we dial the clock back a few years and it was a completely different story. And that's thanks to the hard work of our staff and of our drivers who have stuck with us as we've gotten you to this point today, and I hope that we can do more in the future. A couple other things I want to mention. Mr. Cole, I'm sure you guys are on top of this, but as Mr. Lannis and Mr. Martin and I have all gotten the same requests from a few folks about how some of these, this new salary schedule and steps will change how they're compensated. I'm sure that once the budget is passed and we get into the new year, there's going to be a lot of questions. A lot of staff will say, well, wait, hold on, how much am I getting paid? So I'm hoping that you've got all hands on deck in HR, but it might be good to be proactive in how we're going to tackle that, especially with some of these more complex issues for some of our support staff and other departments. So it may be good to put some things together, maybe put together some Zoom calls or meetings or whatever it might need to be, just to be there to answer questions and help people feel good about, how they're going to put food on the table. So that all being said, I support this budget. Real proud of the work that we're doing as a board, and I hope it continues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russ. We actually met today to put a plan together to do that starting this summer. We're not going to wait till the fall. We're going to start this summer and start doing it early. Yes. Is that what you want to say, Kelly?
Go ahead.
Letters out to staff so that they're aware, so that gives them an opportunity to come speak to us if they have concerns.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis.
First, a quick question, Mr. Cole, and I think you've answered this for me, but I just want to be on the record. Our support specialists in ESS, will they be considered 11 under this salary schedule? They'll be considered 11-month employees as opposed to 10.
If they are 11 months now, they'll be an 11-month teacher because everyone's on a teacher salary schedule.
If they were classified as 10 months,
With 11-month supplement,
yes, sir.
they'll be 11-month employees.
Okay. And again, thank you, Ms. Cole, Kelly, the entire staff. You know, we didn't get, I'm sorry. Pardon me?
No, we
I
didn't
thought you
call
were
for
asking me a question. I'm
We didn't
sorry.
call for you.
I heard my name.
Oh,
We didn't call for you.
She read it.
oh,
I love that.
I'm trying to be brief, Kelly, and you're holding me up.
Stay in the corner.
No, but thank you, Ms. Cole, and Kelly, and all the staff for all the things that you're doing. But, you know, EBR didn't get here overnight. You know, it took years of things happening to get us to this point. And I just want to give Mr. Gode, Ballou, and Mr. Lannis, you know, I want to give them a shout out because, you know, Mark and Mike, you all have been in this fight for much longer than we have, and Mr. Lannis as well. And you guys have seen how this whole process has changed and how we've tried to do this for equity and just self-respect. You know, as a kid, I learned that if you promise a man you're going to give him a day's work, you give him a day's work. Now, that day may have started from you couldn't see in the morning to you couldn't see at night, but it was a day's work. And that's one thing the employees of EBR have done. Regardless of the circumstances, they've shown up and they've done their jobs. And my hat goes off to you for that. And if EBR was not a great place to work, people wouldn't be driving buses for 15 years and 20 years, and they wouldn't be clerical secretaries for 10, 12, 15 years. They'd have found something else to do. But this is a great place to work. It's a great place to work. And again, Ms. Coleman, I'm being brief. Thank you for you and your team. And again, Mr. Gode, Mr. Ballou, Mr. Lannis, thank you for what you've done. And you guys have kind of drug us along, kicking and screaming for a few years until we could see the picture. And I think now that we see it, we're equally as glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gode.
Thank you. I think most of what I was going to say has been said around the room. It has been a long journey. It is, I think we're finally coming to the spot where this is feasible and doable. But I also want to highlight, to me, another thing that this budget has brought out. To me, and a lot of this goes to you, Mr. Cole, and to the staff, it's a rebuilding of trust with the community, the transparency that this has been put together. Not that everybody got everything they wanted. You heard some of that tonight. But at least people know what is there. We've gotten rid of some of the black boxes that no one could fathom and understand how decisions were made and things were set. We've put stuff out there that is clear so that most people can take it and read it and figure out what it is. And I think that goes a long, long way to building trust within the community. But I also have to say to all of the staff that trust goes both ways. The board and the staff has learned to trust all of our educators that are out in the school. We've seen the improvements in scores. We've seen the hard work that's been done. We've seen the thriving of our students. We've seen the things like number of students getting associate degrees and, you know, on and on and on, improving. So we see all of those improvements, and we trust that with this, you're going to continue to do the excellent job that you've been doing and moving it forward. So I read a book one time. It's called Business at the Speed of Trust. It's an interesting book if you've never read it. But they said until you've established trust, it's very difficult to get people moving together in the right direction to get teamwork. We got people who've played on teams all around here, and you know one of the biggest things you have to do is learn to trust that your teammates doing their part for you to do your part for the thing to work. So I want to congratulate everyone on doing that. I do have a quick comment or request for Ms. Lopez. As you work through the things, to me, the only little bit left of a black box in the whole salary schedule is the years of service, or years of experience. And I think, I'm not sure if those rules are really written down clearly somewhere that says how those years of experience are determined. It may very well be, and I just don't know it.
So I can work with HR on making the language easier to interpret for everyone.
Yeah, I think that would go, again, I'm going back to this trust thing, you know, if everyone knows exactly how that calculation is done. And I would also suggest, you talking about putting out a note to everyone prior to thing. I would suggest strongly, since you don't want to have a payroll run for the first payroll check that's going to be a disaster. I suggested that email to everyone or letter to everyone includes which schedule, what step they're going to be on, what experience year they're going to be on, so that if there's a discrepancy in that experience year, they can bring it to the attention, try to get that solved before first paychecks go out.
Absolutely.
So I think that would be, get the questions up front before you take actions on the back end. It's easier to fix it up front. So with that, I'm very pleased with this budget and very pleased with the way things have done. And being that this is my last budget, you guys did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that concludes our comments, cards and everything. Okay, and so last comment, personally, I would like to make for myself. I'm not going to repeat what everybody has said, but I would like to thank the district for putting all of this together and for the board to working together so diligently and cohesively when it comes to making decisions and putting these things together. I think this budget, the salary, and things that are transpiring right now are a lot of the things that the board members have asked and requested to have done as being a part of this board, and I think Superintendent Cole is fulfilling those requests, and so I thank him and his staff for that. And with that being said, this will conclude our board workshop, and our regular board meeting will convene in 3 minutes. 3, yeah, 3. Bathroom break. Okay, I'm trying to get him up here. Thank you. Y'all make sure y'all log into the regular meeting. One, two, wait, 3, 4. Okay, we got 5. Welcome, everyone, to our regular board meeting for June 11, 2026. The invocation will be led by School Board Member Deidris Lannis, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Vice President Lewis. Can you all please stand?
Please bow your heads. In the book of Ecclesiastes 3 and 4, it highlights that there is a proper time for laughter and joy. So with that further ado, I'm going to give us a little laughter. Father God, I want to ask that you touch the heart of Miss Emily Sule. We saw the consent agenda, and it is 4 pages long, front and back. Allow her to take her time and make it through the entire thing. Whoever put it together, April, touch her heart. Make sure that she doesn't bring the next consent agenda to me. Now, without further ado, I will go into serious prayer because across our community, there's been too much death. Too much death amongst our kids, amongst our adults, and there's not enough responsible people having enough conversation that touches their hearts. Yet again, another parent has to bury their child because we as leaders, and I include myself, we haven't done enough. We talk about it. We've had these community meetings. We talk about it inside of the streets. But the question that I ask and I raise tonight is, what are we doing? Because what we're doing is just simply not enough. Every time a child dies, that's a problem. Every time a child picks up a gun or wants to harm someone else, that is a problem. Because we didn't just lose one life, we lost 2. So God, I ask you tonight that you touch our community, that you touch the staff inside of these schools, that you touch this board so that we pass policies that protect these kids and wrap our arms around them in such a way that we don't lose more and more lives every single year. And I ask that you touch our superintendent, give him the guidance, the vision, and the wisdom that he needs to guide us through these turbulent times. I ask you place your hands on him, but most importantly, that you place your hands on our kids and our families. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic on which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call?
District 4, President Stewart.
Present.
District 5, Vice President Lewis.
Present.
District 1, Mr. Blue.
Here.
District 2, Mr. Lannis.
Present.
District 3, Ms. Powell Lewis.
Present.
District 6, Mr. Russ.
Present.
District 7, Mr. Gode.
Present.
District 9, Ms. Sule.
Present.
District 9, Mr. Martin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving along to item B, meeting minutes. Approval of the school board minutes of the May 7th, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting and the May 21st, 2026 regular board meeting as published in the official journal. Do I have a motion?
Move.
I have. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. The approval for the May 14th, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting and, I'm sorry, May 7th and May 14th regular board meeting as published.
I accept your friendly amendment to make those changes.
You're welcome. So I have a approval by Mr. Lannis and a second by Mr. Martin. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition? Madam Secretary.
Please vote. The motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along to item C, information only. We have 1, the monthly financial report, and we have 2 personnel changes. Moving along to item D, receive as information, and we have our superintendent, Mr. Cole.
Thank you, President Stewart, Vice President Lewis, members of the board, those of you here, those who are at home. This June marks my 23rd month of service, currently 687 days, but who's counting, as superintendent of schools. I'm honored to serve this district and grateful for your unwavering support, dedication, and belief you have shown for our students and staff and the schools this year. Together, you helped us grow, achieve, and thrive, and prove what is possible when we dare to be great and put students first. While I reflect on the milestones and celebrate the progress of the past year, there is still work to do. We remain committed to our strategic plan and key priorities, and I believe the best is still ahead, so let's go higher. Student achievement. Earlier this week, the Louisiana Department of Education released the first round of data from our spring assessments, and we saw powerful evidence that our students are going higher. East Baton Parish kindergarten through 3rd grade students achieved the strongest literacy assessment results in our district history, with 62% reading on or above grade level, a 14-point gain from the beginning of the year, reflecting the focused work we're doing to ensure every child is on track and performing at an elite level. I want to also thank the board and our dedicated staff for prioritizing literacy through strategic budget investments and resource allocation. I think we see that these investments are having a profound impact on our student achievement, and we look forward to sharing more progress as additional spring assessment data is released within the next month and will be presented to the board in July. Summer programming has begun across our district. We want to thank the participating families and our staff for their commitment to putting students first to serve students both inside and outside of the regular school year. Please visit our website for more information regarding our summer programming and offerings. I want to particularly thank our Sheriff's Department, our resource officers. We recognize and know that there were 2 school shootings in Baker, and we see and know that they could happen anywhere at any school in our parish. So I want to thank those of you who have stepped up over the last few weeks, all year, to make sure that you are patrolling, you are on campuses until the last person leaves. We know we cannot do this work without you, so sincerely, I want to thank all of you who work in law enforcement, who assist us in keeping our campuses safe. In addition to those school leaders, administrators, teachers, coaches, and any of the volunteers who are on our campuses to ensure that our children are safe. So thank you so much for all that you do. Congratulations to 5 Baton Rouge Magna High School students who have earned National Merit Scholarships. Annually, over 1.3 million students become eligible through taking national qualifying tests. The highest scores become semifinalists, representing less than 1% of all high school seniors. About half of the 15,000 finalists are selected annually to receive scholarship awards. We are incredibly proud of these students for rising to an elite level and thank the teachers and families who support them along the way. They dare to be great, and this honor reflects their personal commitment to excellence. Congratulations to Omar Rashad, a recent graduate of Woodlawn High School. Omar has made history as the youngest registered EMT in the state of Louisiana. I think that deserves a round of applause. He represents the very best of our system when we focus on workforce development, ensuring that every student is truly college and/or career ready. His achievement reflects the power of preparing students with real-world skills and meaningful opportunities that lead directly to community impact. Congratulations to Omar and his family on this milestone. We look forward to seeing you in July when you will be invited to our meeting to be honored in person, and the many lives that he will positively impact. Operational excellence. Congratulations to the communications team for receiving the National Award of Excellence from the National School Public Relations Association in recognition of their work to revitalize and strengthen the EBR Schools brand. Their innovative branding and marketing initiatives have helped create a more unified district identity, increase community awareness, and reinforce public confidence in the work taking place across our schools. They will be recognized at the National NSPRA Conference on July 19th. That's awesome. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Across our Phase 1 and Phase 2 schools, we are continuing to move start times and realignment 2.0 work forward with focus and purpose. As school leaders partner with our transportation consultant and district support staff this week to build out a clear, actionable plans for later start time and implementation, making sure we align at both the district and school level and fully prepared for strong Phase 2 launch in August. Under the area of employee development, We're proud to have teachers, principals, and district staff represented at the recent Louisiana Department of Education Teacher Leader Summit, a statewide convening focused on best practices in instruction, leadership, and student achievement. This opportunity allows our team to collaborate with state-level leaders, learn from the high-performing system, deepen their expertise, and bring back strategies that strengthen teaching and learning in every classroom. The knowledge gained and capacity built through the experience will help us accelerate progress across the district by strengthening leadership, sharpening instructional practices, and ensuring we remain focused on delivering results for all students. Now is the time to be intentional about next year. And that starts with investing in our people through opportunities like our School Leadership Institute, SLR, with the strengthening leadership development, building a strong employee pipeline, and cultivating leaders at every level so collaboration and a high-quality teaching continue to move our district forward. School and district leaders will participate in the School Leadership Institute on Monday, June 15th through Wednesday, June 17th, with the primary focus on teacher collaboration best practices. The School Leadership Institute sessions will be facilitated by NIET and will support leaders in strengthening collaborative practices that improve teaching and learning. At this time, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge a very special guest on loan to the EBR school system from the United States military branch of the Army is Lieutenant Colonel Karen Richard. Please stand, Ms. Richard. Lieutenant Colonel is a native of Baton Rouge, a graduate, a 1986 graduate, 84 graduate of Capitol High School. As she approaches her retirement, they have allowed her to pick an institution to work in leadership, as she is a leader in the military, and she chose the EBR school system. So thank you. She is going to be working with Casey Gilbert in our realignment initiative, ensuring that we get that right, as he has a background in the military. So Ms. Richard, thank you for choosing us. More importantly, thank you for your service and keeping our country safe. As I know you have done a few tours and you are currently on active duty, so we welcome you, we appreciate you, we support you, we love you, and we thank you for choosing us to do this work. With that being said, do we have any presentations? We do not. I'm sorry, we do not. We have a 12-page consent agenda. So with that being said, Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent. And so we're moving along to item E, reports from board appointees to committees. Are there any reports that need to be given by any of our board members? Ms. Sule.
Yes, I have two. The band together that Superintendent Cole asked us to get started with last year to get new uniforms for the marching bands. Liberty High School has gotten theirs, and they are very nice. And yes, thank you to all the community members that helped to make that happen, and to the EBR Foundation. Very grateful. And we are going to kick back up the Band Together committee. Our first meeting will be July 9th. So if anybody listening would like to be on the committee or knows people on the board that would like to give money to help, we would love to have your support. So just shoot April an email and she'll get it to me. And then the other thing I wanted to let y'all know about is I found out yesterday that iCare is receiving the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Lifesavers Award based on the work that they did last year during Suicide Prevention Month. Jennifer Degree is one of our iCare specialists, and she put on a sunshine day that the mayor's office and many other, the sheriff's office and others partnered with. If y'all remember, we wore yellow one day last October. So they're going to be honored this October, which is so exciting. And there's also going to be a walk. So if anybody wants to come out and walk, it'll be in October. Don't worry, I'll let you know more when it gets closer.
Thank you, Ms. Sule. And guess what? We're moving to the consent agenda, and it is all on you. Item F, the consent agenda, Ms. Sule.
I actually really enjoy this. It's like reading a book. Okay, you guys, get ready. Page 1. A, consent agenda. The following items are to be approved as part of the consent agenda and are considered to be a routine and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as an item on the regular agenda for a separate vote preceding the last item on the regular agenda. Number 1, 2026-2027 proposed budgets. Consideration of the request for the approval of the proposed 2026-2027 general fund and special revenue budgets, the budget resolution, and the 2026-2027 salary schedules. Number 2, Oversight Committee, Semi-Annual Financial Tax Plan Update. Consideration of a request for the approval of the Semi-Annual Financial Tax Plan Update and the 2025-2026 revised budgets for Propositions 1, 2, and 3. Number 3, Advertising of bids 2026 through 2027. Consideration of a request to authorize staff to advertise, receive, and award bids for materials, equipment, supplies, and services through June 30th, 2027 to the lowest responsible bidder/proposer, meeting specifications and all state and federal requirements for quotes and formal invitations to bid. Number 4, Advertising an Official Journal 2026-2027. Consideration of a request for the approval to select The Advocate as the official journal newspaper advertising of the East Baton Rouge Parish School System for the fiscal year 2026-2027. Number 5, 2026-2027 Property and Casualty Insurance Program Policy. Consideration of a request to authorize the administration to approve the most cost-effective property and casualty insurance program policy renewal package for the East Baton Rouge Parish School System for the 2026-2027 fiscal year and to provide for related matters. Number 6, Resolution. Reject uninsured motorist coverage. Consideration of a request for the approval of the attached resolution authorizing the board president and superintendent to execute and sign all documents to reject uninsured motorist coverage in connection with the East Baton Rouge Parish School System's automobile liability coverage and its self-insured retention program for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Number 7, RFP Assessment Platform. Consideration of a request to accept the recommendation of the RFP Selection Committee to select Otis, LLC, to implement an assessment platform and authorize the superintendent and staff to execute a contract for products and services. Funding source, General Fund. Number 8, Grants, Early Childhood. Consideration of a request for the approval of the following 2026-2027 Early Childhood Grants. A, Cecil J. Picard Early Childhood Program, LA4, in the amount of $7,705,980 for the high-quality pre-K instruction. B, Ready Start Network, RSN, in the amount of $100,000 to support the Ready Start Network requirements. C, Birth to 5 Preschool Development Grant in the amount of $342,288 to support the implementation of early childhood community strategies. Page 2. D, Early Childhood Education, ECE, Fund Grant in the amount of $1,053,365 to provide tuition assistance for birth to 3. E, Community Network Lead Agencies, CNLAs, in the amount of $373,143 to ensure operational requirements. 9, Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, Early Childhood. Consideration of a request for the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, lead agency, and the following. A, South Baton Rouge Charter Academy in the amount of $334,800. B, Impact Charter School in the amount of $111,600. C, Kenilworth Science and Technology Academy in the amount of $111,600. D, Helix Aviation Academy in the amount of $111,600. E. Kidoscope in the amount of $55,800. F. Greater Bridge Academy in the amount of $83,700. G. Just Cuz Child Care of Baton Rouge in the amount of $83,700. H. Little Dreamers Christian Academy in the amount of $55,800. I. God's Little Angels Child Care Development Center in the amount of $55,800 to expand early childhood seats. Funding source, Cecil J. Picard, LA4 grant. Number 10, contract renewal. Baton Rouge Speech and Hearing Foundation, DBA, the Emerge Center, Incorporated. Consideration of the request for the approval to renew a professional service contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the Baton Rouge Speech and Hearing Foundation, DBA, the Emerge Center, Incorporated, in an amount not to exceed $250,000 to provide speech, language, and occupational therapy. Number 11, Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, Junior Achievement. Consideration of a request for the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Junior Achievement of Greater Baton Rouge in the amount of $120,000 to provide support services for students. Number 12, Professional Services Contracts, Federal. Consideration of a request for the approval of professional services contracts between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the following. A. English Learners Engage in the amount of $199,500 to provide professional development to teachers, school leaders, and support staff serving English language learners in an urgent intervention schools. Funding source, redesign. B. Savas Learning Company in the amount of $55,500 to provide professional development to teachers and school leaders on high-quality instructional materials. My Perspective, grades 6 through 12, funding source, redesign. C. Great Minds in the amount of $56,250 to provide professional development to teachers and school leaders on the implementation of Eureka Math Squared. Funding source, redesign. D. National Institute for Excellence in Teaching, NIET, in the amount of $499,250 to provide professional development and coaching to school leaders on TAP principles and high-quality curriculum strategies. Funding source, Title II. And last, page 3. E. Everyday Labs Incorporated in the amount of $146,651.79 to support student attendance. Funding source, Title IV. F. K-12 Insight in the amount of $168,000 to create a cloud-based platform for parent and family communication. Funding source, Title I. G. Amplify in the amount of $392,700, 3 years, for the renewal of M-Class intervention site licenses related to Dibbles assessment. Funding source, federal/general funds. Number 13, Professional Services Contract, General Fund. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the following. A. CAMI in the amount of $68,005 to support interactive and collaborative learning across grade levels and content areas. B. Renaissance Learning Incorporated, Nearpod, in the amount of $172,008.28 to provide K-12 supplemental curriculum platform and associated educational tools and resources. C. BRIC in the amount of $301,384, for students to participate in college and career readiness programs. Funding source, General Fund. Number 14, consideration of a request to 1. Approve the revisions of policy GBB, personnel positions as set forth in board docs. 2, direct the superintendent to provide to the board by January 15th, 2027, a one-time report that, 1, describes the current state of the district's job titles and descriptions, including number of outdated and unused positions. 2, sets forth a plan and timeline to eliminate obsolete titles and bring all descriptions current. 3, identifies where and how the official record copy of the job titles and descriptions will be maintained. 3, direct the superintendent to provide to the board by March 15th, 2027, a recommendation for how this policy might be amended to provide the board an appropriate level of insight and oversight regarding job titles and descriptions during the annual budget cycle process. This concludes the consent agenda items.
Thank you, Ms. Sule. You did a good job, yes. Okay. Okay, and so I do have public comments. Mr. James Finney.
I haven't been to a meeting for very often for a few months, so it does seem weird to ask for comments before we know if any items are being pulled or not. But that's okay for purposes of my comments. You just had a budget hearing. It's insulting to the people that came to speak at that budget hearing for you to have advanced the budget to a consent agenda as opposed to a separate item. It might be honest, but the budget is hardly routine. I think it deserves some special consideration. Now, maybe one of you is planning to pull it. I don't know. Further, there are a lot of individual contracts within several of those items. I think it's a mistake to lump them together. I think going forward, it would be useful for each of those items to be a separate standalone item. It's not going to make your meetings longer because if nobody objects to a particular contract, you can sail right through. And transparency is good. Speaking of which, I'm encouraged by the evolution of the item that became 14, and I look forward to seeing those reports. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Next, we have Storm Matthews.
I forgot to mention 2 items last time, and I promised people I would put this on the record. The speech therapists are asking if they will be added to the list of titles that fall under teachers. So on the salary schedule, because the only group that seemed to have been left off. And then I have people asking, and I did get a good explanation from Mr. Goday, so I understand it now, but I did promise I would put it on record. They're asking about the TAP sign-on bonus change where it's the supplement, the cost of the supplement and the growth numbers seem to have been flipped, but it's appearing now that they're actually getting more money under the supplement because of the raise on top of the sign-on bonus now. But they did have questions about it because they recruited teachers based on the supplement amount. Like I said, I just wanted to put those on record. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Carla McNamee.
She had to leave.
Okay. Any online comments, Coach?
We only had 2, and they were asking for explanations of the trail drivers from the last meeting, and that was explained.
Okay. Thank you. So we have board comments, and our first one, Mr. Lannis.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to pull 5 items tonight. No, I'm kidding. Just wanted to give us some. See April's face? That's why I did it. Gotcha. No, but I did have a question about item 4. I'm not going to pull it, but I want to have a question because I did not want to go through that process. Maybe Attorney Shamlin, first of all, it's nice to have you back. Maybe you can answer this question for us, and it's not to try to take the Advocate off as being our advertising official journal, but my question is, can we have more than one official journal?
I don't believe the law prohibits that,
Mhm.
but we're required to have one that meets the minimum. To answer your question, I don't believe there's not a prohibition on having a secondary journal to run in, but the law requires some minimum circulation requirements, and the Advocate is the only local official journal that fits those requirements, so that's why we select it each year.
Okay. No, I was just asking that question because there was another newspaper, the Baton Rouge Weekly newspaper, which produces every week. So just wanted to, we could talk about that offline, though. I just wanted to ask that question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lannis. Ms. Paul Lewis.
Thank you. I failed to mention this during the workshop that we had. I was not in town last week. One of my nieces graduated from high school in San Antonio, so of course I had to go and be with my family. But I did listen in to the meeting from last week, and Mr. Cole, I know you mentioned that we should all be working towards recruiting our students to come back to the district. And I just thought about it, even with all of our staff in our district, if we could just think about how many of our staff members have children that are either going to private schools or charter schools that are not a part of EBR, even if we were able to recruit our own to come back, how would that increase our numbers? So I just wanted to put that out there for us to think about as an EBR school family. You know, what would it look like if we brought our own students back to our district? So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paul Lewis. Mr. Lewis.
I've got a comment about number 12, professional services contracts. Not going to pull anything, but what I want to do, if it's okay, I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Rico and his people. Now, a couple of weeks, a month or so ago, we had a press conference at the medical school, Park Medical. And a lot of people from the governor's office, and Mr. Brumley were talking about what a great job we're doing with our English learners. If you've ever attended a program and watch our English learners' kids perform, it will touch your heart. I didn't sit with Mr. Rico, but I was kind of across the room from him. We were at a program this year at River Oaks. And the kids sang "We Are the World." Y'all remember the "We Are the World"? No, but on a serious note, the kids sang "We Are the World," and then the English learners' kids sang it in their own language. Wow. It was tremendous. So whatever we can put forward for that, and that's our fastest growing demographic, whatever money we can put forward to that, we need to do it expeditiously. Thank you.
Thank you. And so those are all of the comments. Do I have a motion? Emily, and second by Ms. Carla Powell Lewis. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All those in opposition? Madam Secretary.
Please vote.
He's making us say to show your vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Superintendent.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to thank 4 entities. First and foremost, I want to thank the board for approving the budget. Thank you so much for your support. I want to thank our board representative who was on the budget committee, Mr. Gode. Thank you so much for your support and staying with us and working with us. Sincerely appreciate you. I want to thank Kelly Lopez. Thank you so much for championing the budget and, dealing with me. Sincerely appreciate you. But last but certainly not least, I want to thank Deputy Superintendent Adam Smith. It was Adam Smith's idea to give our teachers a $6,000 raise. So thank you, Adam, for your hard work, your dedication, and continuing to lead us through the work. Proud to be able to do this work with you. And I want to thank the community and the teachers unions for staying with us and supporting us and being able to stick with us. So many of you have helped us do this work. I want to thank Storm Matthews and Mr. Finney for all this keeping us honest, always keeping us honest. Sincerely appreciate you for keeping us honest. Yeah, thank you so much for that. But again, it's a true community effort. Sincerely appreciate all of you. And last but least, I want to say 3 words: let's go higher. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Moving along to item G, new business. Number 1, student expulsion. Discussion, consideration of a request to appeal a student expulsion. Board members, have you had an opportunity to review the case? Do I have a motion to hear the matter at our next regular meeting?
I do.
Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Ballou, and then I have a second by Mr. Lewis. Okay, moving along to item 2, appeal hearing student expulsion, request to appeal the student expulsion. There's a possibility that will be an executive session under the provisions of LRS 426.1 to conduct an appeal hearing for student expulsion. The hearing may be open or closed at the option of the parent or guardian. Do we have?
Yes, ma'am. You need to take a motion and a second and a vote to go into executive session.
I have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Gode. And so with that being said, all those in favor? Aye. All those in opposition?
Please vote. Motion carries.
We're going into executive session, guys. Okay, so we're back from the executive session. Do I have a motion for that appeal?
I believe they said that no motion is required. or-
No, but I have to do it a part of the record.
She has
Okay.
asked for the record.
Yeah, I have to
Okay,
put it
got
on
it.
the record.
All right.
Being no motion, then it fails. Moving along to item 3, appeal hearing student expulsion. Request to appeal a student expulsion. There's a possibility there will be an executive session under the provisions of LRS 426.1A7 to conduct an appeal hearing for a student expulsion. The hearing may be open or closed at the option of the parent or guardian. Is there a motion?
I move we go into executive session to
I
discuss.
have a second. I have a motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Mr. Russ. All those in favor, say aye. All those in opposition? We will be going into executive session. Please, wait, please vote. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm edited, I'm moving. I know, right? Nobody? Not nobody. Sure don't. And it say 9 yea votes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. So we have reconvened from the appeal hearing student expulsion. Do I have a motion?
I move we affirm the decision of the superintendent.
Second.
I have a motion to affirm the recommendation of the superintendent. I have a second by Mr. Lannis. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition? Madam Secretary.
I guess April's not a robot.
Oh, Lannis, Martin and Lannis.
Please vote.
Yeah, it must be. No, it ain't.
I know,
Oh, she not there.
There it is. What time is it? 6:40.
It does.
There's still sunshine outside.
And 90-something degrees.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along to item H, organizational items. Mr. Godey.
The committee of the whole meeting will be held on July 9th, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the central office boardroom, and the regular meeting will be held on July 23rd, 2026 at 5 o'clock in the central office boardroom.
We are adjourned.